All right, we are live. What's going on, y'all? This is BaldHead's podcast. Today we got a very, very good show. As always, I try to say all the shows are good, but it's up to y'all to judge them. However the case may be, I got my dog from Chicago, one of the coldest radio hosts, doing his thing. 106. Please get your hands together for my man Johnny Cool Out Star from Cool Out Radio.
Thank you. How y'all doing? Thank you, brother.
Down below me is one of my comedian brothers in the game. Funny as hell. This dude, following him on stage, if your ass ain't right, you're going to have a problem. Please put your hands together for the one and only Mr. Marvin Hunter. Mr. Marvin Hunter doing his thing all across the country. And we got a scholar in the house tonight. She got a bunch of degrees, and I ain't talking about degree deodorant. So we got the girl, Dr. Brianna Gaynor in the house. We're going to talk about some serious matters that are affecting and plaguing our community. Mental health and also depression. So this is what I want to know, because I'll be talking about depression. That's a form of mental health though, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I just didn't want to sound crazy, because, I really ain't the best with the lyrics, but, I talk that shit. So, I want to know what is your take on what do you feel is one of the number one causes of depression that is going on in the Black community and that are pushing things the way they're being pushed? Because it's not just young kids out here shooting, it's bad parenting, it's bad relationships, father's not there, the mother's not there. Also, the parents could be there. And their financial situation is bad, and it's making this kid, feel like he's living in a hellhole. So what do you think, Doc?
I mean, I think it's a few different things with any kind of mental health disorder. Some things are inherited, just like diabetes, just like heart disease. And some things come from our environment. So, a lot of the things you brought up are family experiences. Trauma a lot of times can cause depression. Sometimes a lot of difficult circumstances. Right now, a lot of people are depressed because of COVID, because they're losing their jobs and they are not able to engage the way they are used to. But I think particularly in the Black community, I think a big part of it too is that we don't talk about it. So your emotions demand to be dealt with. And if you don't deal with them, they will deal with you. You don't just hold them in and they go nowhere. They come out eventually. And I think a bigger problem is not necessarily the depression, but the fact that a lot of times we are unwilling to deal with it. And so it gets worse.
Hey, I got a quick question for you, Dr. Gaynor. BaldHead.
Yeah.
When you said that mental illness is inherited, is that through environment and what they're raised of, or is that something that's actually wrapped in your DNA if you have, per se, a depressed or schizophrenic parent? Will that be wrapped in your DNA as well?
So there's no guarantee of how we get mental illness, but it can be inherited. So yes, just like if someone has diabetes or a history of cancer in your family, you're more likely to get cancer. Not that you necessarily will. There are other environmental factors that can add to it, but it definitely can be inherited. It puts you at a higher risk of having depression. And then a lot of times mixed with the environment and whatever's going on is just kind of a perfect recipe for that diagnosis.
Gotcha. Okay.
I know some crazy people that they kids
So
already.
Let's not use the word crazy. Why do they
already showing it?
See, you know one thing that I do know is
yes.
I don't understand this. You ain't supposed to call crazy people crazy.
Well, when you say crazy, what do you think of? You think of people shaking in the corner? Nobody wants to be associated with that.
Huh? You on the corner with your uniform on for work, doing karate exercise by yourself.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
That's the obvious crazy, right? That's the obvious mental illness.
You obviously got a job, but you on the corner.
But that is that part of the bigger picture, is that people have mental illness, and again, no one wants to talk about it, and there's no way to really, how can I say, diagnose, or there's no green light to say, hey, you need help, because we have adjusted, or we're so desensitized to all types of behavior in the community that we tend to just shrug your whole, how your grandma used to say back in the day, he just ain't right. He just ain't right. So you just sort of, that's just the way it is. So how do we access those individuals to those resources, especially if they don't even think is a problem with them, because a lot of their behavior may be defined as normal because that's just the way they were brought up.
Well, I think part of it is the stigma, right? So when we think about people who have mental illness, they're so far significantly impaired that no one really wants to be associated with that. So in comparison, if I'm not dealing with that, I must be okay. I think a big part of it is education. A lot of times people don't know that things like anxiety and depression can be mental health illnesses. We all deal with those things, but when they start to affect your functioning, that's when it becomes a problem. Yeah. But I think there's not enough education and people being open to the fact that we could all use help at some point. We all go through something at some point and could use somebody to talk to, myself included. And I do this for a living. And if it could just be okay to get the help you need, regardless of what's going on, I think it would make it easier for people.
I didn't know that I was even suffering from depression till one time. One of my buddies, he was a DJ, and he was like, "Man, you know, you're looking like yourself lately, man. What's going on?" I said, "Man, you know, my brother just died, and every time I turn around, somebody was getting killed in Chicago like summer 2019. So we talked to the little boy. He said, "Man, you depressed." Like you say, shrugging up, like, "Nigga, I'm a gangster. I ain't depressed. I ain't depressed." What are you talking about?
You say you a gangster.
Gangsters don't get depressed?
Let me tell you something crazy. He said, "All right, gangster. You ever watch one of them gangster movies and all of a sudden they just be sitting in the room looking off to the wall and the sad music be coming on? So that's when they be depressed and it hit them." He said, all you got to do is go look up depression. He said, "I guarantee you're going to read something in there." You know, it took me like 2 days. And one day I was in the crib listening to some old school sad song. And I was looking off at the wall. And I said, "Man, wait a minute." I got on, looking, and I realized I had lost my brother, and within a month, I done lost like 26 cats that I grew up with out here in the streets. And it just, the city was depressing to me. It was everything was depressing. The only thing that kind of made me cool was being on stage. Being on stage and making people laugh. And then I just sat up, and one day I woke up in the morning, I got on Facebook, and I said, "My name is BaldHead Phillips. I suffer from depression." I got so many DMs, so many thank yous, so many "I never thought that. I'm suffering from depression too." It just was an onslaught of a lot of things. And I was like, damn. And that's when I really came up with the issue, and I came up with the thing of the foundation of comedy over depression. So, and like you said, one of the things that I tell people is talk to somebody. You might not have the money, you might not have the medical means to talk to a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever you want to talk to. I said, talk to your Uber ride. You got to ride for like 20 minutes. Just don't run your mouth. He might not never see you again, but you get it off your chest. Talk to a beautician. I said, try not to talk to the people that be in your business and run their mouth. Yeah. But talk to somebody. Go talk to your pastor. Go talk to, I don't care if you stood up and you talk to the homeless person that's on the court. Get it off your chest first and then run with it.
It's so hard for us men. It's so hard for us men to admit we depressed, and then we are programmed to deal with trauma a certain way that allows it to build and build and build and build. And it's just really, I don't know. Let me ask you, Doc, is that a form of mental illness? How men just, we're not trying, but we are kind of we desensitized to stuff sometimes. Like it could be some trauma, and everybody could be falling apart around us, but you know, we even kill. You know what I'm saying? We still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a form of mental illness. It's, I think, a lot of how we're trained to deal. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what a man looks like. This is how a man deals with difficulties. And sometimes not having the permission to be able to express that just kind of creates this vicious cycle that we're talking about, which is why this is great, being able to talk about these things. You got so many comments because so many people deal with things that they don't want to talk about. So that must have been freeing for people to see someone else experiencing the same thing that they are. We all are going through this experience, but we're not all talking about it.
Yeah. BaldHead says something interesting. He said, you know, he dealt with it a certain way because he was from the streets.
Yeah.
And so often the code of a man or the code of the streets override our health or override what we know as rationally sane. You know, so BaldHead, from that aspect, how do you get other cats? Because I believe that's what's happening in a lot of these urban cities, is that people are finding different ways to outlet whatever it is they're going through. BaldHead's outlet was being on stage, which was positive, you know, but a lot of these cats in the streets who are struggling to be a part of something, you know, if they're hanging out with gangs, they're struggling to be validated in some form of fashion. And we see it a lot on social media. Social media is nothing but a platform for validate who I am so I can feel better for myself. And that's the way it seems to me. Am I wrong, doctor?
Did you hear when you was switching your headphone, Doc?
I can't hear her. Uh-oh.
You mute.
She just had me feel real insecure. I was like, man, I must have asked him all this question.
She put them headphones on from Walgreens. You know they don't work in 1 year.
All right, there we go. All right.
Okay. So
he gotta ask the question again. Did you hear what he said?
I didn't. I'm sorry.
All right, so I wish we could rewind this because now I got to remember exactly how I said it. But as BaldHead was saying that he was from the streets,
Okay.
and you know, with there being a code for streets and then a code for men, a lot of times that gets in the way of men specifically making decisions that are beneficial to their health or might be beneficial to their morals. A lot of guys now in the streets in the inner city are struggling with trying to validate themselves by being a part of some clique, gangs, or, you know, just doing things to make themselves feel cool or so you can look at me in order to be validated. And then I parallel that with social media. Not everybody's social media account is this way, but generally when I see social media, it seems like everybody's struggling to be validated. It's like, hey, like me, look at what I'm doing. Is that in itself a part of this mental health issue that we tend not to talk about?
Yeah, because it's putting this facade up and not really talking about what's going on. There's nothing wrong with social media or putting out what you're doing, but we tend to put our best stuff up. On my worst day, I'm probably not going to post what that picture looks like or how I'm feeling. That's not what we do. So
Dr. Dana, let me ask you this. Yeah. In my Instagram, I'm flooded with women in bikinis showing their butts and their breasts. Am I looking at mental health or am I the one that has the problem?
Hey, could you send me some of those pages?
But I always ask myself, real talk, I ask myself, I'm like, all these beautiful women, you know, we go from women wanting to not be objectified for their bodies to now, you know, I'm independent and I can show what I want to. So now it's okay to objectify me as this particular sexual object. But I wonder under the layers, why does it happen? Why do you feel like you have to get butt implants, breast implants? You're beautiful as you are.
Because you follow them back?
You're not good enough, huh?
Do you follow any of them back?
That's completely off the subject.
Well, I follow them for research. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Oh man, isn't that sweet of you?
But I feel bad.
Research your page.
I feel bad because I'm like, man. You know, I'm only liking this because I'm not liking it because I think the bathing suit is cute. I'm looking at it like,
that's not why you like it.
Exactly. I'm gonna be honest. Okay. But I do wonder what, you know, because everything we do has a psychological profile connection.
Yeah.
But I wonder, is that a sort of a, what's the word? Is that sort of a hidden trigger of or a hidden way to say, okay, there may be some emotional issues or mental health issues that we haven't tapped in yet.
You talking about them or you?
No, them.
Oh, okay. I
guess it depends. I mean, I think that there's a balance to everything.
Okay.
There's a balance to everything. So it could be, you know, it could be hiding some insecurity, or it could be I just want to show off today. I mean, it really just kind of depends on who it is and what's going on. I think we all have a balance. So I don't want to say all of that is related to mental health.
I think
that it's a necessary evil, but social media is ruining us mentally. It's changed the paradigm to what it is to interact with other human beings. Mm-hmm. You know, people in life, you had to earn your right to be listened to. You had to, you know, people had to respect you. Now you don't. I know a dude that was in special ed in high school. Now he woke online. Now how that work? now I just don't understand.
It's called progression,
He got people who listen to him. Now you was in special, you were holding hands with your class going to lunch, and now you woke, and everybody listening to him. But it pumps his head up, and he thinks it validates him. Social media is kind of dangerous a little bit. You know, it can be.
I would not want to be a teenager today. I would be in trouble if we had oh my gosh. I'm so happy that I was not born in an era where there was Facebook or Instagram. Like my brain wasn't ready to not put things that were inappropriate. It's too much access.
If I was born in this era with the mentality that I had when I was coming up,
exactly.
They'd have shot me a long time ago.
But BaldHead, you say that, but and Dr. Gaynor, let me just add this, because I know when we were teenagers, we had the same obstacles. We were trying to prove ourselves to ourselves, but using around us. So social media has changed the landscape of the environment, because now everybody's trying to be, or everybody thinks it's easy. It's easily accessible to create an image now with social media that does not really parallel who you are. Yeah. And I believe it puts a lot of people in trouble. And it's just like when, and you've been to LA, BaldHead. It's just like when I go to LA, like, you want to be an actor, you want to be out there, but that drive to be successful, and then when you get that celebrity, can drive you nuts, because you don't realize how dangerous it is, because we don't look at it from a mental standpoint. We just we see the glitz, we see the glamour, everybody knows us, but there is a real price to pay. And that's people in LA sleeping on sidewalks because they think one day they're going to get their big break.
I know
LA is a grimy town.
I know a lot of cats in LA that have went up there, and before social media really started popping, when they got the thing where you can check in somewhere, you check in at this place. For me being a comic, I know when they there as opposed to them being there working. Ain't no pictures of you on stage and the audience in front of you. What you saying, you there. I'm already knowing it is a hard deal to get on them stages in LA. You could know a bunch of people and still not get on them stage.
Yeah.
It ain't no game getting on them. I got on it through my manager. When I go to LA, and the first time she put me on there, I knocked every ball out the park. Now I know the people that's holding it down. But it's a lot of dudes that was going out there lying and saying that they living up in LA. You could take a picture of a nice scenery and say you doing good. Sit on you show the picture from front. But then I know I go to LA. Hey man, let me stay at your crib for a couple days, man. I'm over here at the Knights Inn Hotel, me and 4 other comics.
In one room.
Why you been lying on the internet then? I'm thinking you out there doing it. I wouldn't even call you. You might as well be staying on Stony Island in Chicago. You saying, man, you crazy as hell. But like you say, they perpetuate something, and as soon as they get busted out, it's a problem. I've had to stop literally doing that, because they'll say you hating on them, but they dream, and really what it is, they done built this whole wall for everybody to think that they something. So when they do come back home, oh man, you're doing good. I hear you doing good out there. I see you. This thing ain't doing shit.
That shit.
But making himself look crazy when you find out and you go down there, you ain't heard of so-and-so? No, I've never heard of him. I've never heard of him.
I didn't had a comic out there argue with me because I didn't want to come out there and live in my car. I'm like, nigga, is you crazy? That's not a plan. That's not a plan to come out there and no one will live in the car. Like, that kind of stupid. That is the dumbest, boy.
I'm not going to.
But let me ask you this though, Marvin. Why do we? I mean, and Dr. Gaynor, because I mean, as we're talking about social media, it has its good and it has its bad. But I don't think we yet know how it affects us mentally, because it's still new to these generations.
Yeah.
The things that we go through in order to get success. Because I remember I wanted to be a rapper when I was in high school, but it was for the wrong reasons. Because I thought if I was a rapper, I was going to have a girlfriend, I'd be able to get money and all this other stuff. Didn't realize the work that had to be put in, and didn't realize the shadiness of the business, just music itself. And then I was like, wait a minute, this ain't that ain't happiness. It's a false sense of happiness, because we've defined it by what we see, and you parallel that with social media. When you're looking at a brother, or I'm looking at a girl who's absolutely beautiful, and then I look at my relationship and like, why aren't you taking pictures like this? Like I want to, it makes it difficult, or either I can't really understand how or what the wording is or terminology for it, but it's almost like if you're not strong enough to understand who you are, you'll be tricked into believing who you should be with social
Absolutely.
media.
And you're always trying to compare yourself to someone else.
Yep.
And you can never be anybody else but the best version of you. But all the times that we keep trying to compare to someone else, we will never be able to hit that mark. You never will, because you're not them.
But you don't realize that
keep
to the
trying.
end.
Yeah. But then even with success, some of the most successful people are the most depressed. Robin Williams killed himself.
Absolutely. Very true.
I mean, so it goes to show that all those things that we may strive for, is it really worth it at the end of the day when you have such a deep depression that you don't even want to live anymore? Comedians
especially, because we are in the hee ha ha game. People just feel like we always happy go lucky, this, that, and other. Comedians have some issues. The fact that you want to get up there and expose yourself to all them people, open up your brain and let them in. Sometimes comedians are really depressed people behind closed doors. It's a lot going on there. You know what I mean? I mean, even with the COVID things, a lot of people stressing out right now. It's not because you got to balance. And do I want to go get this money or my health? And then am I going to risk bringing something back to my family? And because I know I'm going through that right now. Like I really have to, walk that line. It's difficult. But some people, that's how they pay their bills. That's how they eat. So ain't no check coming in. So they going through it right now.
I'm gonna let you get one of the people said something. My mind is lost. I was been thinking about something that Marvin was saying. I'm gonna get back to it. Kelly Cookinson, can you explain more about acute depression versus chronic depression?
That's a good question. What is the difference?
I know the difference.
So with acute depression, it's usually based on some type of stressor or something that's happening now, something that has happened that is completely out of the norm that is affecting you. So with depression, there's a few different symptoms, or a lot of different symptoms. So sometimes you can tend to be withdrawn. You don't feel like doing the things you used to do. You either sleep more or sleep less. You eat more or you eat less. Chronic depression is someone who's experienced depression for a long time, and that's just become really a big part of who they are. They have struggled with it. It may not be any particular trigger that's affecting them, but they just struggle with depression long term. So it's really about the time. One is kind of sudden and right now versus you've dealt with this for a long period of time. I think it's at least 2 years for adults, 1 year for children. When it's chronic.
I got a brother that I think suffers from depression. And the thing of it is he carries a lot of weight because he's a man of the household. He's a father. He takes care of 30 different things. He makes sure everything is straight at the end of the day. And it's like I always be teasing him because he a chef. This motherfucker, he do taxes. He do like 19 jobs. He got degrees that went to school. He went to trucking. I don't know why he went to truck drive because me and him don't really like being on the road like that. But he can do all of it. But at the same time, I was like, man, when is you gonna do some shit that you really want to do? And it's like you keep searching to figure and find out whatever it is. But he good at all these aspects, but it's like he's not acting with it. That's what I'm saying. I know he's making whatever you do, but it's like, what can you do to get him settled at that point? You know what I'm saying? Even if he got some issues at home or he got some issues in past life, what would be the advice to give to him to get, I guess you say, get him centered? Now, I done said all of that. I ain't gonna remember all that shit. I swear to God, I ain't gonna remember all that shit.
Dr. Gaynor, can you hear us?
Can you hear now? What you done did, you done pulled something out. We still can't hear you.
Now you can. My computer just started acting like this. I'm sorry.
Just started acting right.
Maybe your computer's depressed.
You've been holding off buying that new computer for about 6 months.
My computer is depressed because it has not been out of this house for the past 4 months, and it is very.
Oh, and now you're gonna start it up. You're gonna fire it up with all this stuff. Your computer went up. But I was saying, you hear me now?
Yes.
I have a brother that wears 1,000 hats.
Mm-hmm.
He got all these different jobs that he can do, cook, truck driver. I mean, it's a lot. It goes on and on. But it seems like he's not happy with either one of them things. And, you know, he got his own private stuff going on in his life or whatever case may be. What do you think is some advice that could get him centered?
Probably would be a good idea to just kind of sit down and sort through what he wants to do and what he feels passionate about. There's a lot of things we're good at, but I believe that we were all created to do something that we're supposed to contribute to this world. And those things that we're most passionate about are those things that we would do even if nobody paid us to do them.
That is the
maybe, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's one of the reasons that pushed me to do what I got, even with this podcast. He ain't never been no entertainer, but everybody know me. He did stuff for a bunch of people. Put them on financially, put them on mentally. You know, he one of them cats. Hey, Marvin, like, remember that time we were sitting at the table? I was sitting at the table. It was me, you, Rodney Perry, and I was talking about, man, I'm going to take over all these shows. Rodney told me something. And one time he said, you want to chase these rooms or you want to chase your career? You know, you got somebody that say some logical shit to you.
Yeah.
You could be in one way, and he's like, damn. You right. That's the type of, when I talk to my brother, if I feel, and I would only talk to him because I know he got sense. But it's like, how can I give him that? You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, nigga, what is you finna do? Sit your ass down. Do that one thing. You know, I think you got to find out what's like you say, what makes him happy.
Yeah.
I got a question, Dr. Gaynor. Can you hear me?
Can you hear Dr. This thing went off for a second. I think.
See, I'm glad I asked because she hit me first before I asked.
Yeah, you gotta ask.
How you learn? How we learn?
Hard out. Gotta do it again. I think she making us go through some type of program. You know, we said we don't want to talk. She making us talk again.
There's some therapy. Yeah.
Can you hear?
I expect a lot more out of your computer, doctor. You are a professional.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what it is? Your mic. You might have not put your mic on when you came on. So if it do that again, just go all the way out and then come back in and make sure you got your mic straight.
Can you hear us?
Oh,
well, there it is.
So she can hear us. We just can't hear her. Okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes when when you first load this up, if you don't know it, it'll say do something about your mic and all this and stuff. Yeah. They go, Sabrina, my publicist, Sabrina, what do you have to say? Also, Kelly Cook, let me see what she said. Can one be addicted to depression? I think that some people feel better being depressed or angry. Like it's related.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
I think so.
I'm gonna wait for the doctor to come back on.
Yeah, I don't have the medical background to answer that question, but I'm going to say yes. Just like I think some people can be addicted or only can function in negative environment. You ever meet somebody and they always got to have some shit or something got to be started?
Something got to be going on with them. Yeah.
Like, they work in chaos. I'm like, yo, I don't get it. But I think some people are addicted or they feel comfortable in that feeling, in that place.
But you know what I had to learn, man? It took me a long time. It hit me probably around 40. I can't be around people like that. I got to get away from you. Cause you pull me down. You fuck with my shit. When I go around you you always naked all the time, and it'll get away from you. You'll be friends with somebody. This is a family member, and you just find yourself dealing with it, and you won't even know. At some point, it'll start affecting you.
Let me ask you this though, BaldHead man, and Ray, please let me know, man. From the streets, do you think the cats out here on the streets are suffering from some type of depression? Because why is it they just had a shootout on the expressway in broad daylight? It's like you're not even trying to be good bad guys. You just like, I don't care. And one cat was telling me, he was like, yeah, man, I got popped 7 times. He was wearing it like a badge of honor. I was like, if you've been shot at 7 times, then I don't need to be standing on this street having this conversation with you, because I'm not sure you finished.
Now she's back. Yeah. She's back.
I'm back.
Hey, all right, there we go.
Everything straight?
Yes, I apologize. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. But listen, we didn't came up with a couple good things. Let me see if I can go back.
Okay. So while he's doing that, can I ask a question real fast, BaldHead?
Yeah. Well, the question that Kelly asked is on the board: Can you be addicted to depression? I think some people feel better with being depressed or angry, like it's reliable.
I don't know that I would use addicted as the word, but I think it becomes comfortable. I think a lot of times, especially when you experience chronic depression, it really becomes who you are. And a lot of times it's about being able to separate the depression from your identity. It can become people's identity. I've had clients where we had to talk about, okay, who are you outside of the depression? Depression is what you deal with, but it's not who you are. But sometimes it can become so much of who you are that you have a hard time separating it.
I just don't like when you want to talk about it to me all the time, and it's something you can fix. I got a partner, and his wife gamble all the time. Now he the money, she just be at home with the kid, but she gamble all the time. He want to talk about it all the time. Nigga, stop giving her the money. I mean, what you telling me for? I don't want to hit this every day.
Yeah, that's easier said than done.
It is.
Cool. I know you got a question. I want to tell everybody. While y'all are on here, everybody that's commenting, shout out to my sister Monique, shout out to my assistant Tia with the hand crack. Please, everybody on here on the live, share the live, comment. You know, we're trying to answer these questions. We're trying to work this out and get this out together. I want y'all to specifically share to that person that you know is depressed. Share it so they can hear this. If they can't hear while we live, it'll be on their page for them to hear another time. Now, cool. What was you gonna ask them?
No, I'm trying to get what you just said out of my head, because you're gonna share it to somebody and they're gonna say, why you sharing this to me for? I ain't depressed. I don't need to hear this. That's the one you know needed. Like,
yeah, that's the one that needed. And I got a cousin like that. Every time he come around, man, I can't do this, man. I can't go back to school. I ain't sell drugs. These niggas out there tricking. I don't know what to do. I said, just kill yourself. That's what I really want you to do. I mean, you killing me when you come around me. And you know they say don't say that to him.
Yeah, that's not helpful.
He might kill himself, but shit, stay away from around me. Because you depressing me. I already have my own problems. And for me,
oh yes.
And you know, if you're the type of person that you're gonna help out somebody or you're gonna try to give them that advice.
Yeah.
You're so used to getting good advice. Let me pass on some good advice. But they don't never want to listen. They want to just keep coming around with the same dark cloud, these ravens. Same thing.
So Dr. Gaynor, this question I have to ask you. If you sleep a lot, are you depressed or are you just lazy?
I mean, I think that's such a broad question. It depends on what else goes along with it. So excessive sleeping is a symptom of depression, but there are other things that go along with depression. It's not just the sleeping part. So if all you do is sleep a lot, that does not mean you're depressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would sleep my ass off, and then I get up and because I know what type of job I got. One, I'm a comedian. But I'm also I do Uber and Lyft. Well, I can go out there when I want to. I always just come up when it's time for that rent money. I got that. Okay, I got that. I ain't got that. Let me go on. I didn't get it. But
I always wondered about that, because you meet a lot of people and they always, I'm tired, I gotta lay down, or they just laying in the bed. The bed is their comfort zone. Like I always wondered that depression.
Let me get this question from.
I mean, it could be. It depends. I would dig more about that. But go ahead for the question.
Sabrina Childress Miller. I have a question for the fellas. Are you able to recognize when you, as a man, are in a bad space before it becomes destructive? Are you willing to tell your male that they need to curb certain abusive behaviors? What are you saying when we call women out of the name, or what? I don't understand what she's saying. But if I got a problem, I got a couple of friends I call and talk to. If I got a comedy problem, I'll call somebody like Marvin, I'll call somebody like Rodney Perry, or a couple other comics I'll call. If I got I don't understand. I don't understand what you said. Do you understand what you said? No.
Well, I think the first part, maybe how do we handle it is a coping mechanism. I know for me, if something is bothering me, my answer is to remove myself from it. If I remove myself from whatever is angering me or got me depressed, it actually helps. It actually, the problem don't go away, but I feel a little better if I ain't got to look at it. So if I go somewhere else, it helps me. So.
What about but it sounded like she was I thought she was asking more about, can you also talk to your friend about like correcting them if you notice that they're going through something or they're struggling, or just talking to them about maybe they are depressed or in a bad state or they're not doing the right thing. That's what.
Yeah, well, I got people to talk to. That's what I think.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I think it's like when fellas get together.
Yeah,
it's not an easy thing to say, because most of the times, especially if you see somebody have the household, like I can't go to BaldHead's house and say, hey man, I think you talking to your wife wrong, or you handling your children's wrong, because we have to respect their environment, and we know that that could cause more of a problem for us, which is probably why we don't do that, because one, we don't know how to take it. Like if somebody walk in my house and tell me, this is, what I'm doing it's wrong. Well, I'd be like, well, this is my house. Why are you here? Like, I mean, we tend to have that. So I don't even know how we could even approach, which we should be able to, but how can you approach that? How do you do that, doctor?
Okay, so, I mean, I think it depends on the relationship. Just like BaldHead said, I have certain people I talk to about certain things, and I have come to learn that I cannot talk to everybody about everything. That's just kind of the way it goes. But those people,
and I think everybody. I'm not gonna take advice from everybody.
Exactly.
It's the people I'm gonna be like, man, shut the fuck up talking.
But boy, is that fair though? Because even though they may not have credibility in one thing, they might be spot on something else.
Not if I know them. If look at this.
Yeah.
If I know you a pastor, but you beat on your wife and you beat on your wife, you're not gonna give me no marital. You're not going to give me no advice.
But does that take away that information? I'm sorry, hold on. But even though he's a pastor who cheats on his wife
and beats his
wife, he's doing it wrong. But if he tells you, hey, this is wrong, does that still make that advice not good just because it comes from him?
I don't want to hear it come from him.
I
consider the totality of a person.
He can tell me.
Consider the totality of a person.
I'm being judgmental. My brother said I'm being judgmental. I think he can tell me how to pimp slap a chick. Yeah, you can tell me that, but am I, that's not. I'm just saying, that's what I'm gonna ask somebody for advice, or I'm gonna ask somebody to listen to me. Man, check this out. And I put it on to them, and then I might say, this is what I want to do, or this is how I feel. If I know this person has been moving in a certain way and he's been winning, but I know he done made mistakes, I'm gonna give him that respect. And you know what, man? Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a prime example. All Marvin and Kulak, y'all know me. I told my brother today, and I'm making this announcement because this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna stop saying the word motherfucker and bitch, because I found out where motherfucker comes from. The extent of where it's from, and bitch because of the women. And I said I was gonna slow down on the nigga. It's kind of hard for me not to say nigga. It's kind of hard because there's so many niggas out here. It's the women that need to be called bitch at times, and I be tired of all of them. But I did. I didn't mean to do that. But
see, we gonna get to the point soon, though, right?
I'm trying to slow these words down so that and stop saying them, because I want my show to be better from me being a host. You know what I'm saying? It's still gonna be raw, but I did my last couple of shows where I was giving relationship advice, because I'd have been in some messed up relationships. I done messed up in them, and I done had it. And all the whole time while I was talking to the ladies I was talking to, I was like, bitch this, bitch that, bitch this. And one of them was like, hey, do you think you can stop calling women bitches? I was like, I'm not talking about women, I'm talking about bitches. I've made my own rational answer. It's a difference. And I still think it is. So I I need some help with that. I need to get it on up out of
here. Hey, bro. Call it. I know some people say it's judgmental, but man, if your life a dumpster fire, you can't give me no life advice, man. I'm sorry. I can't receive it. I can't receive it. I can't receive it from you.
But what about if we put it on the other hand? Like, do you feel comfortable talking to certain people and just telling them the truth in love? Like, can you do that if we reverse it? Because there are certain things I think people need to hear that maybe we're hesitant to say, but yeah.
Okay, I'm fat. What I look like giving health advice? What I look like? What I look like doing that? What I'm saying. You gotta consider the total. What in the hell? What in the entire hell do my fat ass look like giving somebody some kind of healthy eating tips?
I mean, but again, with Dr. Gaynor, but see, let me ask you this, Doctor.
Yeah,
go ahead. No, go ahead, Doctor. I'll let you finish.
I was just gonna say, if there is something that you see that maybe that person doesn't even recognize, and you point it out, not that I'm judging you or I'm trying to give you advice and I'm not taking it, but look, maybe this is something you want to consider. I want people to tell me those things. I don't always love that constructive criticism, but if I don't know, we all have blind spots. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, what were you going to say?
I was going to ask that, and because we're speaking in a mental health arena, that could that be one of the obstacles of our community, is because we probably are getting great advice from people who aren't taking that advice, but yet if we don't, and I say this in general, if we don't see that person who's giving us the advice as credible, we think that what they're saying is bad. That's like somebody who is trying to teach you how to run and they have no legs. Does it still make what he's saying not credible?
a little bit. A little bit.
But I mean, could that be something that we struggle with, is not wanting to, or maybe not, I don't want to say not wanting, but just maybe not being open to hear everything as opposed to what we want to hear.
Absolutely. I think that people who may not necessarily be doing certain things, there's a natural block. I'm the same way. I'm like, how you gonna tell me that? What are you doing? But what I've also had to realize is that there are some things that can be useful that they're telling me that I'm not even listening to. I'm already coming to it. So I think it's also about being able to filter the things and really evaluate, okay, is this something that's helpful or not, before you just totally close your ears to that person, because there could be something in there that you need to hear.
I got mental health issues then, because I can't do it. It's almost like somebody talking to you and they got a booger in their nose. I don't care what you're telling me. I'm looking at that booger in your nose. I want you to get that out of there. You can be telling me my house
tell them to get the booger out of their nose. Yeah, tell them to get the book out of their nose.
Hey, Marvin, I believe what you said about how could somebody like my size get somebody help. But this is what I do. I'm like, this the size I used to be. Now eating that is how I got this size.
So you can give some valuable information from a different perspective.
But you ain't big no more. No more.
Right. So I told
still big. I mean,
I had a conversation the other day. Now I was talking to Grady. Grady was in town, right? So me and Grady talk. He at the barbershop. I'm looking at this barber cutting his hair. I see, hey, you need to go and cut all that off, man. It's coming down. It's coming down. Your top is about to be pulled back. You got a sunroof right now, but it's about to be a top top. He gonna say, man, you don't know. Look, I'm standing there talking to the man. I got my do-rag on. He goes, man, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, yes, I do. I do know what I'm talking about. Now I'm trying to help you before you find out the worst way. Because before I got locked up, I had a lot of hair. And I cut my hair off when I was in jail because wasn't no dudes finna braid my hair. That's how I came up with the name BaldHead. I swear to God, I went to the city. I know when you get your hair braided, you got to sit between somebody's legs. I want them to do that. So I went upstairs, I cut it with the clips and I shaved and I kept saying, I come BaldHead. I get home, I said, I'm home, I'm finna grow this hair back for that these girls braiding my hair. But when it came in,
It was thin.
It was the Batman signal, and back here was a empty pool. I said, "Oh no, I can't do that." I left it alone. I lost it in some years of just shaving it so much, it just found it, So I mean, I give you advice on going bald. I can tell you when it's time to go bald, and bald and beards is in now. So it just depends, like we say, it depends on the situation, Marvin. You could first off, Marvin. I don't know a coach that don't look like he's your size. That coach wasn't always that size. He was all pro at one time. And at that same time, like my son, I got a son, looks exactly like me. He just cut his hair real short. He used to have them dreads, and I said, "Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Your granddaddy bald head, I'm bald head. It's coming for you."
It's coming.
He didn't want to believe until one day he seen one of them dreads was far back to the other one. Man, he cut it short and get a little fade. He gonna come one day. He had me on FaceTime. So how many years you think I got with this right? I said, man, you'll find out by the end of the summer. And you got kids now, so they're gonna pull it back a little bit more too. But it depends on the advice in the situation, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just a lot of times, man, people give you their opinion. It ain't based in no experience or no fact, and that just because they just want to talk. They just want to have something to say about your situation. Right. So I'm just real guarded on who I listen to. You know what I'm saying? I
mean, you definitely have to consider the source. I definitely understand that. I heard this quote that everybody can't be in the front row of your life. I mean, they just shouldn't. So who are those people you trust? And you go with that. But I don't think people don't have anything valuable ever. I just think you have to.
I know a couple.
Dr. Gainer. So even with this, because therapy is just, it's therapeutic. The conversation itself is therapeutic.
Absolutely.
When we gather like this and somebody sitting there talking to each other, or you're going with your brothers, are we really doing a form of therapy? Because it always seems like when you go hang out with your boys, and for women as well, or you go hang out with your girls, and y'all talking about relationships, what's happening in each other's lives or family, and then when you leave, you always feel better.
Yeah.
So that's therapy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, could that be? Because therapy is just conversation. Am I correct or incorrect?
No. So, no, therapy is not just conversation.
Conversation and resolution.
That's a big part of it, but it's about figuring out what are the things that are blocking you. So a lot of times when people go to therapy, there are certain struggles they're having. So what's getting in your way? What are the consistent kind of thoughts and values and beliefs that affect you? What are the behaviors? What are the things we need to improve and change? So it's about a transformation and growth, and it's about your thinking, really getting to kind of the core of your thinking. And a lot of times it's about how we grew up and all these messages that we learned that we didn't realize has affected us until we become adults, and we realize we get into relationships and we're like, oh, yeah.
There's a saying out there that your parents spent 18 years fucking you up, and you spend the rest of your life trying to unfuck yourself.
Wait, when you say that, Marvin, when I was coming up, my grandma used to always tell me, because I was raised in an all-female household, she say, you hate women, or you don't like women. I was like, no, I love women. I got 2 or 3 girlfriends at one time. What are you talking about? But to this day, I'm still not married, and I go over that, and I'm like, maybe she was trying to say something, but a little bit differently about dealing with women that I didn't understand. But that statement resonates in my head every year I get older, and I'm looking like, okay, why am I not married yet?
You might.
And it's hard for us coming from the Black community to embrace going to therapy.
It is.
It just I don't know, it's just I know, like back in 1997, I was with the Seabees, and you can look it up. A Korean plane crashed into a mountain in Guam. So we was tasked to go pull the bodies out, right? So man, you had folks charred up like ribs, dog, like the whole body like ribs, and you ain't never smelled burned human flesh. You will never get out of your system. So we was down all day pulling bodies out of this plane wreck on side of the mountain. and then people were fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
so they gave some people the option, like, do you want to come back the next day? And I was one of them, like, hell no, I'm good. I did it today. I'm good. So they made us go to this big therapist session, and it was a big round table. You had a therapist, and you had the chaplain in the middle, and maybe about 30 people in this room, and people were bawling out, crying, and and I remember just sitting there like, fuck y'all crying for? They say we ain't gotta go back. Like, in my mind, my thing was, we ain't gotta go back. What the fuck? What y'all crying for?
Yeah.
That fuck with me for a while. I'm like, why did it not affect me the way it affected everybody else? I smelled the same smells. I had pulled the same bodies, charred bodies. Why it didn't affect me? But I think that my mind was, we ain't had to go back. What we going to therapy for? Like, this is stupid. Like, why we got to talk to somebody?
So was the way
we ain't never got to deal with anymore.
Was it the way you perceived it, you think, is why you took it differently?
Yeah, and I think part of it is just, us as, Black people, we just don't do therapy. Like, we just don't do it. We don't know how to handle that, how to process it,
I think our first therapist was, if you got blessed to have it, grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma was the first person. Not even your mama. Your mama had to get to a certain age.
Yeah.
To be that. I don't think nobody's mama. You talk to your mom, you listen to your mom, but nobody's mama had that knowledge that grandmama had, because grandmama had 2 generations under her belt. So her own stuff, she's seen what you went through. Oh, he finna bump his head. No, he ain't. Boop, he bumped his. I just told you. She said the best. That's why, in my eyes, my great grandmother, we called her Big Mama, and that name Big Mama was bigger than life. I said the only person, if Big Mama tell me to do something, and Mama tell me not to do it, I'm doing what Big Mama say. Only one person can tell me or give me some advice over Big Mama, and that was God. That was God. And Big Mama, I swear the craziest part was, Big Mama never led us wrong, except for right now. She didn't lead us wrong. Like, what we going through with this COVID? The grandma been told you wash your hands. She been told you, stay away from them nasty people over there. That's whole house of nasty people. But let me tell y'all one of them, y'all this, and it's just something about being Black. Y'all remember before you went to school, you was over your cousin's house, your auntie house, they made you get in that line and take that damn cod liver oil?
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you what was even nasty that y'all didn't even think about it. Everybody did it with the same spoon.
A whole lot of things changed now, bro. A whole lot of things.
A whole lot of things changed.
You ain't ever think about that, did you, Bob?
No. Everybody did it with the same spoon.
Look, when your grandma cleaned something off your face, she licked her hand and went,
yeah.
Lick your whole. Hey, that's how the first wet wipe.
That was a thumb, grandma, boy. But it's funny when you say your grandma was a therapist, because I remember if you would tell your grandma something, at least mine, she would say, "Shut your ass up, ain't nothing the matter with you." Like, she would be that hard, or the belt would be the therapy. I remember I told her one time, I said, "Grandma, I realized in school that I was depressed going through whole school." Now, it's funny how you don't realize that till you get older.
Yeah,
a lot of different reasons, but my grandma told me, and this was probably one of them. This was such a poignant, in your mind, you remember certain things that your parents or somebody who was, your mentor tells you, and it sticks with you to this day. I told my grandma, she said something. I said something about school. I wasn't doing well. She said, "Well, you can just drop out. Just go ahead and get a job." And I looked at her, and in my head, I said, that is not what I wanted to hear right now. Yeah. And from that moment, because I saw the history of the family and how everybody had pretty much done the same thing, I said, no, I'm gonna break this cycle. So that somehow refocused me, and I don't think she ever really knew it, but she was willing to let me drop out of school. But when she made that statement, that refocused me, and I came out of high school on honor roll. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this. But it's just funny how grandma didn't realize the mental health aspects of what the family was going through, because our community is going through so much.
I think she did.
We learned how to make lemonade out of sour apples. It's just.
I think she did know. She just wanted to push you a different way, and then she did push you a different way without you. And I bet you she looked at you like.
She probably did, maybe so, but you know, it's just our families. How do we get people to understand, or even to take that step, Dr. Gaynor, to doing therapy? Because it's not something that we understand, you know?
It's interesting because as you're talking, I'm thinking about my grandmother. And I remember talking to her about grief because she had lost so many people. And my mom died 5 years ago. And so I was like, what do you do? Like, how do I do this? She's just like, you just push through. You just keep going. And I was just like, huh? That it has to be something more to this.
Right.
And because I'm in this profession and this is what I do, I was just like, yeah, this isn't right. Like, I need some help. I have to go to somebody. And so I think it takes people hearing from people who they respect, like you guys, us putting it out there that it's okay to ask for help. That therapy is not this big bad thing. It's going to talk to someone who is not attached to you, so they don't have any vested interest, and they can hear from an objective point of view to really help you work through your stuff. And the truth is, I went in for grief, and then it's amazing all the other crap that came up that I needed to work on. But
Really?
it's amazing. And if I had never taken that step, it's helped me to learn so much more about who I am. And this is what I do for a living. Like,
yeah,
it's about just becoming a better version of yourself. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I think it's about the way we frame it. It's not this big scary thing. I'm not forcing medicine into your mouth or giving you a shot.
I'm gonna take these last two questions from these people. Doc, you read this because this one is specifically for you.
Okay, here's a question. Why do some of us attract the same kind of people, men and women? Oh, it's a pattern, it seems. Is it psychological? There are women who attract the same kind of men over and over again. There are men who say they want wifey, but tend to deal with thoughts over and over again. What is that called?
I think
Doc, do it better.
One is called Hoeing. I don't know.
Hoeing has always been great. It's always been great.
But that is a big issue, Doctor. I'm curious to hear what your answer is.
Yeah.
I think it kind of goes back to how we function and the way we grew up and how those patterns kind of lead to our relationships. A lot of it has to do, and I hate to harp on this a lot because we hear this a lot, but how we grew up and the messages we got in childhood just have a huge effect on how we deal in the world. They just do. And so if you see yourself continuing these patterns and you don't want to, then it may be a good idea to look into talking to someone so you can figure out how to get out of those patterns. What led to that? What started it? Why did it
talking get you out of those patterns though? Like if you got a man that sleeps around with a lot of women, can conversation actually get him out of that pattern? Because it seems like it's more of a physical thing that's driving him as opposed to a mental or even thinking about the consequences or the repercussions of doing that.
I don't think it's not necessarily about getting him out of anything. It's about helping you to make better choices and recognize why you continue to choose these people, because the only person you can change is yourself. So why do I continue to allow these things? What are my standards and values? And how do I work through whatever I'm struggling with so that I can make better choices and recognize better partners? What he does is inconsequential. It's about you.
My girl Vanessa Fraction said this. I'm sorry. What you say? What you was gonna say, Marv?
Oh, well, I was say that it goes back to what you see growing up. You know, I got my first time I got married when I was 20, like a freaking idiot, and I ended up emulating what I seen the relationship with my dad and my mom. Right, so my dad did everything. He took care of everything. My mom had to work, so I started doing that. But then at some point, I'm like, I don't like this shit. This nigga need to go to work. And you nigga need to do something. You need help. You need help. So it became a problem. But then I created this environment to where she feel like it's comfortable for her to work. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I think that we bring our baggage from what we see.
Absolutely.
And that's how you attract a lot of people. You know, I had a female partner that dudes always dogged out. She was sweet, very nice girl. And she was like, why do they keep doing me like this? Because you show up asking them to. You show up, you know, presenting your ass for them to smack. You do that. You know, you can't show up completely bare to people. You know, that must be a wall a little bit. You know, it's layers that have to be unpacked. You just want a man. And when you show up with that desperate, men smell it. We smell it. We can smell that you desperate.
I had a problem with that too. And my problem was, if it's easy, we'll get it. And I think a lot of men, before we get to the point that we're gonna settle down, we really have that epiphany moment. Shit, that ass fat, them titties look good. That's this. I got to get that. She finna give it to me. What's up? I'm on it. Yeah. Oh, you just want to eat? That's all you want to eat? You want to lead with that? Then a lot of things go wrong. They lead with it. I feel like right now, I'll be preaching on stage that women should have sex on the first date or the first month, so you can find out if that sex is good. Because I don't care what this man got: money, riches, good with the children, one of God's fearing people. If he ain't taking care of something in bed, you're gonna leave him alone. You're gonna cheat. You're gonna
BaldHead. I will not be telling my daughter that.
I'm just saying. I hope you don't. I mean, but she's going to have to find out somewhere. Another question. Our illustrious friend, Sabrina Children said, I used to think that everyone black was Baptist or had some kind of religious upbringing until I went to college. It concerns me when people don't have a foundation of some kind that is a higher power. Well, I was in college, and I remember Anthony Mason. I went to Tennessee State. Anthony Mason, one of his buddies, came to me and said, "Man, you ought to look at going to being a Q." And I said, "You know, I'm a gangster disciple. I can't be in two gangs." That was my religion. I was my religion. I had the stupidest mentality back then, because somebody be like, "Do you believe in Jesus?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a disciple." Not that type of disciple. What's wrong with you? I'm just talking mess. But we're gonna wrap it up. Kelly, put the thing up there for the cable, please, and Tia, put the hand cracks on it, because I do something. I try to support black businesses, you know what I'm saying? And Doc, could you tell people where they can find you? And I want y'all to please do yourself a favor and be honored. This doctor came on, gave us this advice. And before I go any further, I want to also say something about the young black dudes that are out here today. One of the things you said, Doc, that I think make a lot of sense. We were taught a certain way when we were coming up as young boys, that if somebody hits you, you hit them back. Mm-hmm. My great-grandmother told me, I don't care who it is, boy or girl, cat or dog, they hit you, you better hit them back. So now we've passed that down. It's been passed down that you ain't gonna let nobody do nothing to you. So what I think one of the psychological problems that was instilled in us that keeps going is a lot of these kids out there getting their lick back. Whether it was them getting dissed on social media, whether somebody said something, it ain't even got to be a physical aspect now. You can physically say something to somebody and they feel disrespected. They want to get their lick back, whether they hit you upside your head, whether they go at you on Facebook and then it comes to a bigger issue, or somebody get killed or somebody get in the hospital. I think that cycle was one of the things that was the wrongest thing that came up. And also when they said, well, go on in this house, stay in this house. Because a lot of motherfuckers got molested like that. You know? and they said for years, well, why you just coming out with this? You 50 years old. He dead. Why you? Cause y'all told me to keep. I'm tired of keeping this shit.
Yeah.
That's it. All right.
Molestation is a big problem in the black community.
That is another mental issue show that I'm gonna get up. But if you got a fire stick, I'm gonna need y'all to please go to WeWatchTV.net. You got a fire stick, go to WeWatchTV.net. You ain't got to pay all that money for your cable no more. And on WeTV.net, there's over 3,000 live channels, movies and series, sport packages, kids channels, NBA, NFL, Sunday ticket. All you need is a fire stick. If you don't have one, you can use the computer, iPhone, or Android box. $30 a month. But with my code, my promo code, my name, BaldHead in capital letters, you get it for $20 a month. Hey man, I'm giving y'all a lick. Everybody listening, get on with the lick. I'm gonna put that up there one more time. Kelly, please put the number up there so that they can call and extension 1. Go to this www.wewatchtv.net and get it. That is my girl Kelly Cook. She's a good sister. She's doing something good in the neighborhood, the community, and it's all over because it's on the internet. Doc, please tell them where they can find you at, where they can come pay you for these skills that you got.
So my practice is called Peace of Mind Psychological Services. Our website is peaceofmindpsychology.com, and we are on Instagram and Facebook at Peace of Mind Psychology. So follow us, please. Peace of Mind Psychology. PEACE, by the way. PEACE.
PEACE. Cool out. Let them know when it's best happening. Look on and catch you out with your Facebook page because this going all over the world, baby.
All right, what's up? You guys can catch me Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time. I do the afternoons on Soul 106.3 Cool Out in the afternoons. And I also do a specialty show called The Basement, which is all about the DJs and the music, 9 p.m. to midnight on Saturday nights. Always online, keeping up with what's going on. But you guys also catch me in movies and films. So I'm all over the place. But catch me on air. Soul 106.3, Monday through Fridays, 3 p.m. to 7. And Dr. Gaynor, I will be calling you because I want some sessions. I really do.
Kelly said, do you do virtual sessions, Doc?
Yeah, so my therapists are working from home. So I have a staff and they are all doing virtual therapy sessions right now. And insurance is covering a lot. So yes, we are doing
Do they have the same type of headphones that you had?
I thought we were done with that. I thought we weren't gonna talk about my issues with my audio. You ain't have to call me out like
that could be traumatic. You telling all your problems and all of a sudden you like, well, I didn't hear nothing you said.
Yeah.
Hey, we had to go back and tell it twice. I said, well, now I know how to talk about it. I can talk about it. All right, my dog, Marvin Hunter, please tell them where they can find you, where they can go search you at.
Hey, you can find me at all times on Instagram at comedian Marvin H on Instagram and Twitter, and Marvin Hunter's fan page on Facebook. And then also you can go to iTunes and download my comedy album, Is That a Thumb in My Grits? That's Marvin Hunter, Is That a Thumb in My Grits? Get at your boy.
And I'm gonna tell y'all, from my personal, me being a comedian, y'all know it's a lot of motherfuckers I tell they ain't shit. This dude right here, he got some shit on there where he be talking about, what do you call it? The stories of you in the service? What you call it?
Oh, Navy Sea Stir. Disrespectful Navy Sea Stir.
Dude, I'll be mad when the story be over. I'll be mad. He had one where some dude was acting crazy and they had him watching them and the nigga went nuts. Man, go on this man's page, check out his content. Funny as hell. Dr. Gaynor, thank you so much. I'm so glad. Hope to get you on the show again. Cool out, my dog. We're going to do business. You know we got it cracking. Shout out to my man Marvin Hunter. And as I say in closing all the time, y'all pray for me. I'll pray for y'all. Thanks for hollering at me, checking out BaldHead's podcast. Peace out, y'all. See y'all later.
Peace.
bye.